Arsenal, of course, had to go to Watford and get the 3 points. They did, but by the narrowest of margins, a 1-0 victory. The goal coming early on, and it's enough to put them back in to the top four. Lots of changes for Unai Emery in that starting 11, particularly at the back. Mavropanos coming in, Torreira was there, Ramsey at no place for Ozil in the starting lineup. Mkhitaryan playing from the start, and really, guys, it was a gift, wasn't it? The way they took the lead. Ben Foster almost offering it up on a plate.
Yeah, well, he's balancing the Napoli games, obviously. I mean, I was disappointed to see Ramsey not play at Everton a week or so ago when they lost. They didn't play well, and then they had back in the side for the Napoli game. And now he's made some changes again with that game in mind, and the fact Socrates was unavailable. But it was a gift.
Yeah,
it was a gift. I mean, the two big decisions. Decision for Foster to not just lump it up the field, and the decision from Troy Deeney. So, listen, does it convince anybody that Arsenal are now on the road for the remainder of the season a bit more comfortable? No, it doesn't, but it's just about getting results for them now.
Yeah.
It's only about getting results because they were hanging on against 10 men.
Yeah, Aubameyang getting the goal, and then Troy Deeney making life even better for Arsenal, getting himself sent off, Stevie.
Yeah, and again, we've been talking about their away form.
Yeah.
But they ain't going to play against 10 men every time they go away, and they're not going to be giving goals, because that's how they won this game. You would not have, if you'd watched this game and you didn't know Deeney had been sent off, you wouldn't actually have been able to tell that it was 11v10.
Right.
So Arsenal are absolutely fortunate. And Troy Deeney, I've heard a lot of nonsense about you have to intentionally throw your arm or, because you make contact doesn't mean it's a red card. Listen, Troy Deeney absolutely threw his arm out. He caught Torreira on the side of the jaw, and it's a red card all day long. And I'm not really sure why he was arguing about it.
Yeah.
It certainly got his team fired up.
Any doubt for you, Craig, that it was a red card?
No, and I don't know where, for some people, they don't know where the doubt is, as Steve said. Listen, if you're challenging for a ball and the ball's bouncing in the air or it's coming there and your arm is up, then I can understand that. But he wasn't challenging for the ball. The ball was on the ground and it was away. And the other side of the coin is, and I've heard this nonsensical argument that, well, Torreira's quite small, and so that's why he is. Well, it was which he is. That's why his swinging arm.
Yeah.
And it looked more of a forearm, but it was a swinging forearm, caught him in the head. Well, because it's small, and he didn't intend to catch him in the head, but because he's small, it did, and that's unfortunate. But that's not part of the laws.
Yeah.
You have to factor these things in, And as I've said all along, listen, when a player goes to make a challenge, be in the penalty box or whatever, he intends to play the ball. He generally doesn't intend to take the man down and give a penalty away. But it's no excuse after after it happens to say to the referee, well, listen, he was a bit too quick for me. I didn't intend to take him down, but I did. So therefore, there's no penalty.
And the ball had gone long before. And Troy Deeney had actually announced his intentions quite publicly after the last win. Whenever I play against Arsenal, Deeney, I'll go up and think, let me whack the first one and see who wants it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a clever thing to say.
Did it play into anything to do with this red card? I mean, obviously, he set out to...
Listen, Troy Deeney's a physical player. Yeah. So, regardless of the opposition, the only thing you know is Troy Deeney is going to challenge physically, and he's going to make sure you know that he's there. But you can go too far.
Yeah.
And he went too far. And actually, it wasn't even the referee that gave the red card. It was the linesman who was, 30 yards away that gave the decision. Because quite frankly, I thought the referee was awful.
And you can't throw your arms in people's faces with reckless abandon when you're not challenging for the ball and you're swinging it out. You can't do it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 years ago, maybe you would have got away with it. But you can't do it. And spare me the excuses about, well, he wasn't trying to do that. It's just not in the laws of the game.
So despite the early gift goal, despite the early red card, still Arsenal had a sense of hanging on at the end, did they not?
Well, they did, yeah. And for me, they should have had a penalty against them.
Yeah.
I mean, a corner for Watford. Leno pushing Gray to the ground. I mean, I'm not talking about a little tickle here or just a little shove. He actually put 2 hands on him, shoved them to the ground, and the referee was standing 15 yards away with nobody in front of him and didn't give anything. And it was an absolutely scandalous
And the ball was in play. So
the ball was in play.
Yeah.
It makes no sense whatsoever why a penalty kick wasn't given.
What I would say about Arsenal, right, in the bigger scheme of things, is Watford don't lose many at home in the Premier League. The last time they lost at home was to Chelsea in the Premier League, and that was before Christmas. There's a reason they're in the FA Cup final, because they're very well organised. Steve mentioned they're physical, and they've been over physical tonight. That's why Deeney's been sent off. You'll need to have a rethink about that, because we like physicality, but the laws are the laws. They're well organised. They're big and strong in midfield. They defend well. They'll get it down and they'll pass, and they can cause you problems. But the bottom line here is Arsenal get on the bus. The short trip from Watford to London Colney, their training ground, with 3 points, and I'm not sure Unai Emery will be too fussed about how they got it done, because they were not convincing. No. But they haven't convinced all year on the road.
Right.
That's why their away form is miles behind the other teams in the top 6.
Yeah.
So, all in all, not a good performance, but a great 3 points.
All about getting the 3 points, as I said, which is exactly what United did. Similarly, in convincing fashion on Saturday. The top 4 now looking like this. It's the shifting sands, really, isn't it? It seems to change every week as to what team we think is in the ascendancy. Chelsea, the big losers of the weekend, really. When you look at the run-ins now, let's stay with Arsenal for now.
I think Palace will be a tough game away.
Yeah, and 2 tough road games too, Wolves and Leicester.
Wolves are out the FA Cup, so, you might think, well, are they on the beach already? But that's a bit early.
Palace and Brighton at home, you'd think would be wins.
There's one thing, the only thing you know is Sean Dyche and his Burnley side, whether it's the last game of the season and they're safe or not, are going to absolutely 100% be physical and get after you. That's the only thing that you can guarantee with that game.
Yeah. Looking at the other contenders for the top 4, Spurs.
Well, I think
with the 3 home games.
I think Spurs. I think we all think. Most of the lads think Spurs should be pretty okay.
Yeah.
Looking at Man United away at Everton, the way they're playing at the moment, they're not playing well. They're getting results, but they have not played well against the likes of Watford and West Ham at home, and Man City at home, and then Chelsea at home. I think that's putting them at peril, because they're already playing catch up in terms of the points.
Yeah.
They've got the least amount of points. I don't fancy them in the Manchester derby. I just don't. Unless something changes in the next 10 days, 2 weeks. West Ham dominated them, Watford dominated them at home, and they've City at full strength. I can't actually see how they're going to get a foothold in that game.
I think the last time we tried to bring any order to this, Spurs and Chelsea was the consensus pick to finish top 4. Has that changed at all?
No, not at all.
That was before tonight's result.
No, not at all.
No.
Same arguments. Chelsea. Same arguments. The way Arsenal played away from home, they still got tough games to play away. Yes, they did win. Absolutely not convincing. Man United, no idea what you're going to get from them right now. That's why I'm sticking with Chelsea and Spurs.
Anything changed for you?
No, barely.
No. Yeah.
Well, it changes most weeks at the moment, if I'm being honest with you, because I had Arsenal in a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm kind of swaying towards Chelsea, purely because Arsenal's away form. A great result tonight, but you can't keep playing like that on the road. And getting that amount of luck, when you see what Foster did, it was just crazy.
I think all we can say for certain is it looks like it's going to go to the final weekend of the season. If you ever miss an edition of the show, you can catch the audio version, the podcast available every day on iTunes.